Alright, here we are. We are doing the Master Tower Floor 1. The whole purpose of this fight is to only win with 4 stars only. So as you can see here, I am setting up to do this fight. Making some decisions here on what to do. So I decide to debuff, start the heal, do a little bit of breaking, and of course taunt. What this is doing is I'm not in a rush to break to get to the first break. We only need to be in a rush after we break. So the purpose of using Noelle and Minnow's wind prones is to stack them and make them last longer. Here we are now just going to go ahead and start breaking to move towards the goal of doing a lot of damage. We're going to keep healing because we want to keep Devin alive. We're just continuing to do Desperate Resolve here. You could theoretically use his wind skill there to break, but I've calculated it out so that I actually break on a specific, it's not really a specific turn, but I'm stacking BP while also debuffing, and I'm setting up to go ahead and buff the entire front row with Mabel, which I think is important. So we continue to break using Fabio. Everyone else here is just, either healing, stacking debuffs, or buffing, taking a little bit of time off to prepare for the first break, because it's going to be our only good break. Once this guy, once we break him, he comes out of break, he is a menace. He is going to be very challenging. So here I'm just calculating the breaks to get exactly 4 breaks, and that will happen. We're also making sure to buff again with Mabel. We don't really care about this damage because we're going to break him next turn. So it's not really a big deal. Alright, so as you can see here, we get a little bit of damage in there. So not super great pre-break, but here we're going to do all of the nukes times 3. And of course, Dust Devil times 2 so that we can do, well, I decided to change my mind there. Forgot about that and decided to do that times to max, and I'm probably just going to taunt after that just to make sure. But ultimately, I don't recommend doing that. In hindsight, once you come out of the break, it's pretty worthless. So I don't know if I pivoted here and left Dust Devil because I realized that, or if I actually did taunt here. It is actually a bad idea to do the taunt, because once you come out of this break and he starts doing two moves a turn, you're toast. You just want to come out swinging with daggers and get the break over with. We do save all of our ults for the second break, so I think it's important to note that this damage is very important. He is incredibly low, so your second break doesn't need to be that great. You just need to get there before he ults, because once he ults, it's non-elemental damage. There's no way to deal with anything. I did realize it in this run, which I did not in my previous 2 attempts. So this is literally, hey, okay, we're going to take some damage. That's fine. Let's just get some breaks going. So, Fabio's health is not great here, but at the end of the day, he is getting ready to ult. We just need to hit 9 breaks. So I sit there right now and I'm looking at it and I just do the math, which eventually I get to the right math. Obviously, Fabio's part of it. He's got 3. Minnow's got 2. He's got 1, and then it's just 3 there. So ultimately, I do take the time to double count the math here. So it takes a little bit before I make my final decision. But yeah, it's just one of those things, like, which way do I want to do this? And ultimately, I think the decision is Noelle here. And then, of course, I'm just debating on whether I want to boost or not, I don't know if I'm going to kill. At this point, you should probably just boost. I don't know if that's the actual final decision I went with. I don't think it is. But post ult, it's pretty much over. Saving the BP doesn't do anything because you're probably going to die if he comes out of that break with 2 attacks. You're just going to get toasted. I didn't use the BP. Thankfully, it didn't come back to haunt me, but I do recommend using it there. Here, you can see the damage is not great there, but it ultimately does not matter at all. Don't use the BP on Devin because you want to use his BP here, but everybody else I should have used the BP because I'm planning on ulting. Thankfully, everybody in this particular fight has a wind-based ult, which is nice. Not Devin, but everybody else. So the damage is pretty good. Fabio's ult's really amazing because it buffs everyone there. Plus, we have Mabel's buff still. So this is just going to be a dumpster. We crushed it, which is amazing. So that is, the fight. I apologize for the lack of music, but I dubbed over my other video because my commentary wasn't particularly helpful. So there it is, 10 turns. I really hope that that is beneficial to you. Unfortunately, I do not believe I go into show the equipments here, but I assure you it is a bunch of 4-star A4s and a few A4s that you may or may not have. Those are not necessarily required for the clear. I used Tytos and Herminia's A4s, which are a pretty big deal, and not everyone's going to have, but ultimately you can get there with this comp. It just may take a little bit more damage after the break, in which case you kind of want to sacrifice a lane, which makes it rough. I wish you all good luck, and we'll catch you on Monday where I try to tackle Master Tower EX2. I failed it a few times, and it didn't go well. I've got to build some fortune weapons, and then I think I'll be ready for that one. So look forward to clipping that and showing it off on sometime next week. Thank you, and please hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a good one.